special guest, Dr. Sirat Ali. And for those of you that don't know, Sirat Ali is a senior lecturer at the University of Wollongong. Sirat is very special and important to us because Sirat was one of our PhD students from 2013 to 2017. And his PhD supervisor, Benjamin Liu, is here in the room with us. So he's supervised by Benjamin. And Sirat's research focuses on corporate governance and stock liquidity. And for those of you that don't know, if you look at Sirat's track record, Sirat has 3 A-star journals and about 17 A journals. So he's a prolific researcher, does a lot of work in this space. And in addition to the research, and in addition to the teaching, Sirat has a passion for Refinitiv LSEG Workspace and the ESG metrics that come out of it, because you can do a lot of corporate governance research by being able to analyze that ESG information. So for those of you that are into corporate governance, I think today is a wonderful introduction to Workspace ESG metrics. And in addition to that, I've also kindly asked Sirat if he could provide some reflective comments to our PhD students in terms of his journey from being a PhD student to becoming a senior lecturer here. Given that Sirat comes from Pakistan, it's a long way to go to complete a PhD and to become a senior lecturer in academia in Australia. So he has a unique journey, and I think he's got lots to share with our PhD students. So welcome, Sirat, and thank you for your time. And I'll hand the whole seminar over to you, and we can take it from there.
Thank you so much, Robert, for your kind and warm welcome. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure to be here after a long time, the 2017 PhD completion. And from there onward, this is the second time I came. First time in 2019 for a research seminar, and this is after 2019. This is my second visit at Griffith University. So I'm passionate about giving back to the community, and I'm a strong advocate of student alumni network. I've done some work on that, and today is an opportunity for me to walk my talk that if I'm an advocate, I should be coming to Griffith and giving this talk. And it could not have been possible if Robert could not have been very passionate when I sent him an email that I'm on sabbatical. He said, if you visit Brisbane, deliver a couple of seminars, have a couple of coffees and lunch together. And when I asked my supervisor that I'm coming, and he was very passionate, let's meet on the first day. Unfortunately, I could not come on that day because that was my first day of joining at University of Queensland for 2 weeks. And then we met on Friday. I met with Robert and my supervisor, Dr. Benjamin. Yeah, so I'm very excited to come back and share my reflective talk on my journey as a PhD student to becoming a senior lecturer. And in addition, I will be discussing my passion for training HTR and early career researchers about the data. And just to begin with, data is something that I started looking at even before my PhD. And it could not have been possible without my supervisor asking me when I was in Pakistan. It was 2012, June, mid-year 2012. I got the PhD admission, my scholarship was there, and Dr. Benjamin sent me an email. Can you start looking at the data, whether the project is feasible or not? I still have those files. I'm not going to show for the time brevity. So I have those tables where I put the names of the databases relevant to my research, the description of those databases, and whether those databases are publicly available at my subscription, whether the data is hand collected or readily available. And if some of the data were subscribed, private subscription was required, Benjamin asked me to contact with those vendors and get the codes and information so that when you join PhD, we can see your project is feasible. Yeah, I have done that. Then first year of my PhD, I did further work on that. And as I evolved in my PhD, my data journey and my research journey evolved, and there were hurdles which were overcome as I progressed. Okay, so I will begin with the Refinitiv Workspace. And the title is the Refinitiv Workspace ESG and Sustainability Data for Teaching and Research. And this workshop, I have designed it for academics and researchers, plus PhD students in particular, who are looking to enhance their understanding and use of ESG data which stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, through the Refinitiv Workspace. So I'll give an overview of what ESG core of Refinitiv Workspace looks like and how to access the Refinitiv Workspace. There are various methods. And why I'll be talking about various methods, because I have some public tutorials. I did not give a tutorial on accessing the Refinitiv Workspace. Then there were so many comments coming that how to access it. You're showing how to extract the data, but first we have to join in setting up the username and password and then start downloading data. So I thought that it's better to share different ways that you can log in remotely and on campus.
And just for everyone's interest, Aki and everyone, I have, CIRAT has kindly given us a Word document with some information. Aki, I have emailed it to you because I can't get access into the Teams meeting. I don't know why. So Aki, I've emailed this file to you. Aki, can I ask you just to share it amongst all of us in the Teams chat so that everyone here can download CIRAT's file on Workspace. So it should be in your inbox in the next few seconds. Aki, if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
So accessing the Refinitiv Workspace is important. You join into the Refinitiv and then you extract the ESG and sustainability data. And then I will be discussing and providing some overview of various methods you can use to access and analyze ESG data for a single company as well as multiple companies. Single company is important for using it in classroom. Those who are interested in using ESG data from Refinitiv in the classroom as a case studies. So single company analysis will be really important. Multiple companies, if you have to download data in bulk for your research projects. Okay, so here is a picture that I really like, which is about the data. And I have shared the information that before starting my PhD, I started looking at the data. And when I came here, I started looking at the data again. And it was 2014. So nearly after 2 years before starting my PhD and in the second year of my PhD, when I came to know about CIRCA database, which I think is still available here. I don't know in the future, but so then I started using CIRCA and then I downloaded the bulk data. But before that, it was all manual data download. So 2 years already gone to my PhD, more than 2 years, I must say. And then in the third year, I got grip on the data. And then since I got grip on the data, I never looked back and things keep moving from CIRCA database to Bloomberg, Bloomberg to Refinitiv. So these are my go-to databases. And this picture says number of years to get the data is 3. It's just hypothetical because it takes time. And in particular, if the data is hand collected, or if the data is from a database like Bloomberg, Refinitiv, and the user interface is sometimes not very friendly at the start. So you need an expert and you need to spend hours and hours, weeks and weeks, months and months to get hold of it, and then you can be efficient in your research. And finally, the last picture from this mimic, it says that number of slides to present data is 1. So when you present in your research seminars, what you do? 1 slide, you collected the data from this database, and this is your sample. You inserize the variables for outlier, for this and that, and that's it. You go to the results and interpretations. But the hard work that goes into extracting the data, you don't never discuss. And that's the motivation for me to go behind the scene and discuss. There are issues and there are challenges which early career and novice researchers face, and we can tackle those issues to make them more efficient. Instead of spending 2-3 years on getting grip of the data, why not the first week, at second week, third week, there are resources available. They can kickstart the data journey. I learned a lot. I learned persistence and resilience of sticking with the data under the guidance of my supervisor. But I still feel that maybe students can learn other soft skills if some of the hurdles can be solved quickly. So here's the plan I was saying. I hope the online colleagues can see the file.
Aki, can I confirm that you've got it and you're able to upload it?
It has already been uploaded.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you, mate.
Yes, so here are here's the outline: understanding Refinitiv ESG score, accessing the Refinitiv for ESG data, extracting or analyzing ESG data for single company. There are different methods. I will give quick overview. Extracting ESG data from multiple companies, there are various methods. Again, a quick overview of those methods. And I have developed a Refinitiv guide, which I did with 5 of my PhD students. I involved them in this project. They developed the team skill, how to work with each other. So there were mix of students, senior and junior. They worked together and I allocated different tasks based on their expertise. And we came up with this database, with this guide. And you can see the word here, Eikon. So Eikon was the older product. So now it has been replaced with the Workspace. And universities have transitioned, those who had Eikon, they have transitioned to the Workspace. And Refinitiv is now branded under the one brand, LSEG, London Stock Exchange Group. So you might be now familiar with LSEG, but those who have been using it for a long time, so it was Refinitiv Workspace. So now it's LSEG Workspace. And before Refinitiv, it was Thomson Reuters, Asset 4 database, and data stream can also be accessed through Refinitiv Workspace. So there are different versions to it. I just wanted to make sure you know those. If you see some A-star papers, they say we have used data from Asset 4. So Asset 4 is accessible from Refinitiv/LSEG Workspace. Then there are different screens you can use, predefined screens. You can have financial, non-financial screens, and you can screen out the companies, and then you can do further analysis on that. You can exclude companies which are poor in governance, poor in environmental and social issues, and you can also bring financial screens and then see whether you want to include those companies in your portfolio or you do further analysis. So yeah, so that is quick overview I will give. Then extracting the sustainable finance data. As per my literature side, this data is still not being utilized much. I've seen working paper of Benjamin with one of his PhD student using data, green bonds data on gender diversity and green bond. But I haven't seen much of the papers there. So there might be potential because sometimes data needs to be a bit novel and not have been used. And it has a potential. You can extract that data. And if the problem is there, world need the solution, then it's an excellent opportunity for you to use it. So green bonds, social bonds, sustainability linked bonds, and similarly for loans, that data is available. I'll give a quick overview of that. And then there are different interesting apps and templates available related to ESG and sustainability data. I will have a quick overview how to access them. And then on your own time, you can get your hand dirty and become expert in that. And then there is LSEG Workspace certification, which is primarily for coursework students and HTS students who want to get grip of the full LSEG Workspace. So they have different videos you have to watch. Then there is, I think, 60-minute exam. Once you pass it, you get the certification. I haven't done it myself, but when I was a PhD student here, I did the Bloomberg, I think Market Concept, BMC. So that certification I did, and when I joined UOW, we had Bloomberg there, and then we switched from Bloomberg to Refinitiv. So yeah, so that certification should be great.
And Sarah, just for everyone's knowledge, in LinkedIn, I don't know why I'm getting them because I'm connected to a lot of people. But in the last 2-3 weeks, I've seen a whole heap of Macquarie University students on LinkedIn saying they've completed the LSEG Workspace certification. So Aki, Reza, Stefan, Fang, we might have to think about, encouraging our accounting students and our finance students to complete LSEG Workspace certification.
Yeah.
And it's free. Students should have access to it and do it. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I integrated this certification in the new subject I designed at UOW, Sustainable Finance, which was in autumn semester this year. But it was voluntary integration and students were not required mandate. It was not mandatory requirement. I think out of 90 students, only 2 students did it, which I think still good enough. Voluntary requirement. So next semester, next year, maybe a bit more stringent, and then it becomes a norm. So I'm a fan of the rule of 3. So if you have to achieve some meaningful impact, you do it 3 times. So here is the Refinitiv ESG score, how it looked like. I think this one is important. If we understand it, then the rest of the workshop will follow through it. on the top of it, it says ESGC, which is Environmental, Social and Governance Combined Score. And why it is combined? Because it has two subcategories, sub-dimensions. One is the ESG score, and second is the ESG controversy scores. The prime difference between these two is that ESG score, which is on the left-hand side of my screen, it is based on the publicly available information which is disclosed by the company, self-disclosure related to ESG issues. So that is publicly voluntary. So this is disclosed by the company. Whereas the ESG controversy is any negative event on environmental, social and governance issues picked up in the media. So which is not in the control of the company. Yeah, up to some extent, maybe in emerging and underdeveloped countries, media can be controlled, but Refinitiv picks those controversies from newspaper, and then they give the score for ESG disclosure and ESG controversy scores and put them together, and it becomes a combined ESG score. And that's why Refinitiv ESG combined score in literature is considered as a measure of the performance, because it combines the self-disclosure with the negative events picked up in the market by the media. Under ESG score, we have the environmental pillar, pillar number 1, social pillar, pillar number 2, governance pillar, pillar number 3. And each pillar has different subcategories. So environmental pillar has 3 subcategories: resource use, emissions, and innovation. Social pillar has 4 subcategories: workforce, human right, community, product responsibility. Governance pillar has 3 subcategories: management, shareholders, corporate social responsibility. And then under ESG controversies, controversies come from all 10 subcategories, which are from environmental, social, and governance. And Refinitiv collects more than 630 data points related to environmental, social, governance, and ESG controversies. And out of it, they use 186 comparable measures within the same industry to convert it into ESG score. So as I was saying, if you're interested in learning the methodology in detail, here is the link. You can read it in your own time. But one thing I would like to provide as an insight here, when we look at the ESG ratings provided by different rating providers, they diverge from each other. So the correlation is not very strong, positive. So which shows that they might be measuring something different. So the paper that I'm referring here, that's an excellent read to understand why there is divergence and what are the ways moving forward. So divergence can happen because of the indicators. For example, 630 data points here. The other provider may consider more than that, may consider completely different kind of indicators. The scope could be different. The way they measure the indicators could be different, and the weight they put on each indicator could be different. So Refinitiv put their own weight, they measure the indicators in their way, and they include the indicators based on their research. But different providers can have different way to construct the ESG score. Okay, so that's something you can read on your own. So in terms of access, at URW, we have set up the workstations in computer labs. So students can go in, there are generic username and password they can use and log into the computer, use the workspace installed in the computer. At Griffith, I remember Bloomberg was installed in N50. I'm not sure if workspace is also installed in some of the computers. So that could be something. Yeah, so it is installed. So that's good. So you can go there, check the timetable, and you can use it on campus. But given the digital world we are living in, everyone wants to be more flexible, work remotely, which is perfectly fine if the work is moving on. The remote access is available. You have your username and password for the Refinitiv. You use them. And then there are 3 ways you can do it. The first is the web access. Second is you install Refinitiv on your personal laptop, i.e. laptop which university has given it to you. So you can have the Refinitiv app. And the third is once you install the Refinitiv app, in the Excel you can see the workspace adding, which is normally automatically added in the Excel. If not, then there is a way you can add Excel add-in in your computer because you have installed the software. So then you can go to the computer add-ins, and there should be workspace there, which you can integrate in your Excel. For example, if we go to the web, just clicking on that, that is what normally I use. So my email address is my username, password is already there. Let's see if it is correct. Yeah, sometimes with the databases, you need to be a bit more patient because once you log in, it may take time. Once you start downloading the data, it can take a lot of time. And that's why sometimes senior academics, instead of downloading data by themselves, they can recruit an RA. RA learns through that process, put on their CV. When they apply for the job, they can say they have experience. And senior academics, they are mentoring the RA. So there are positives from both sides. So here is the access. I hope everyone can see. So this is the home page. I have logged into the Refinitiv. I remember Bloomberg had a lot of colorful keypads, the green, the yellow, the red, the blue. I still remember those. And it has meaning. The green is go, and the yellow is the markets, and the blue is, I think, log in, log out, and red is log in, log out. Yeah, so, but Refinitiv doesn't have that keyboard, but their homepage is still a lot of things happening. There are different monitors. You can do multiple things on one monitor if you're interested in trading. But for today's talk, that is not our focus. Our focus is ESG data for a single company and multiple companies. So just in terms of, so we have accessed the Refinitiv workspace through the web browser. Remotely, you can do it. You just need your username and password. I normally, if I go to any database, I keep it very simple. Instead of, because there's so many things blinking, and you can, if I go a bit here and there, I could be lost. So start from the first thing first. See what is on the top, then go to the second, then go to the third, start from the left, go to the right. So in that way, one time you spend quality time on the user interface, you're good at that. But if every time you just go to your material, every time you log in, you don't know what's happening. So in terms of the first row here, so you can see it says there were three bars here. So just click on that. So there are, similar to Bloomberg, we have the markets, we have the macro level data available, we have the company level data, we have the portfolio level data, we have the news, the charting. There are some research Refinitiv does on companies, filings and events, search tools, and sustainability data. Here is what our focus will be, sustainability information for the companies, both from equity side and from the bond and loan side. But there is a way here, because sometimes this is hidden here. So you don't know what is available. So normally what I do, if you click on this show bar, so now that information is coming here. Okay, so now you can see that. You can set it up as a normal setting, but you can leave it as it is as well. Like if I click on market, so now it opens a drag down. So it is more user friendly. I feel everything is in one screen. You can see what is under the market, what is under the macro, the company, the portfolio, news, charting, research, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that was the core thing that I wanted to highlight here. And then this is the home screen, which you can always click and come back to the home screen if you are into some different screens after you have done some steps. Okay, so that was first web browser. Then desktop version, if you go to the Refinitiv website, so they have the software available. And if I go down, so they have the download for the Windows, download for the Mac. And the mobile app is also available, so you can download in your mobile as well. So once you download this file, then in your computer, it should be appearing somewhere here. It is showing here, Refinitiv. So because I have already installed, so Refinitiv is appearing here. And once you install the Refinitiv on your computer, the third Excel add-in, it should automatically be appearing in your Excel. If you open Excel, so I installed the Refinitiv on my computer. I opened the Excel, and the workspace is appearing here. Here, adding is there. You just need to sign in because I have logged into the web browser. Sometimes Refinitiv will pick it up, and username and password might not be required. But if it is required, you can again enter your username and password, and you can log in. So it's requiring me to enter username and password. Okay, so it's saying you're logged in to the web browser. Fine. It gives some time to breathe.
Yeah.
And it is.
So it always takes 5 to 10 minutes to connect. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is connected now. So now you can see under the workspace, only the sign in was showing. I signed in. So now different ways to interact with the workspace from here. If that is not available, so you go to find, so you go to file here, and then you go to the add-ins. This is the add-ins. It's not coming here. Yeah, add-ins. Yeah, somehow it's not coming here. Options, yeah. So I think because of my screen is smaller, so it has condensed the information into different forms. So here, the add-ins. So under add-ins, so you go to computer add-ins because you have installed the software. So you see the workspace here. So once you install workspace on your computer, it should be appearing here. If it is unpicked, you just tick it up, then you click OK, then the workspace is appearing here. As I was saying before, I received a lot of inquiries about these access methods, how we can access. And that's why I thought that we start from the first step first. Let's enter the room, and then you can do the stuff from there. So now we have seen the web browser, we have seen the app, how we log in, and we have seen the Excel adding as well. Okay, so now extracting or analyzing ESG data for a single company. Any company we can pick, and there are different ways we can extract and analyze ESG data. There is a statement view, fact sheet view, scoring profile, sustainability dashboard, peer analysis. This climate map is again very new. Might be potential if the data is available. There is a potential to use that data. One of my PhD students was doing exactly the similar work. Net zero targets. We are setting the targets and tracking the company performance to those targets, the carbon targets. We saw the Refinitiv has already got up with data. So now we have given the task. Can you go back and see what Refinitiv data is available and what you can add to that methodology? Because that student is good in machine learning, and we wanted to give him something which is aligned to his expertise. So that is something new. So I will have a demonstration of that as well. So now I have listed generic steps here. We need to, if we have to analyze a single company using these tools. So first thing is we need to search for the company. Then we need to navigate what information is available about the company. And then we have to focus on the ESG related information. And within that, there are different ways to analyze the company. For example, I have listed here. So the web browser is already opened here. So let's stick to the big company PhD. I think here I learned a few things from Robert as well when I was the trading room manager. He used to give a lot of talks on how to use Bloomberg, embedded it in most of the finance subject, maybe money banking and finance, investment analysis, credit and lending, real estate finance. Yeah, so you keep naming those subjects. Financial institution management. So there was, I think, somehow the requirement, the integration was there. And we were recruited as a PhD student to sit in the trading room. If students come with their queries, we could guide them. Yes, so I think still happening here.
Yeah. We have a training room manager here
That's why
today.
we are nodding. These are excellent experiences. This is, I consider it as one dot. So you put it there. After a few weeks and months, you will put another dot. You keep adding dots, that becomes your journey. And that becomes your journey for your career progression. First job, promotion. Yeah, so keep on adding. Sometimes PhD students, I feel, when I was doing all those things, I could not put and connect those dots. But now I can see, yeah, those are meaningful experiences that you can put in your CV. You have guided 100 students. Keep a track of that how many students are coming, what are their queries in your application for job market. I think those things will become handy. But I feel sometimes as a PhD student, we don't know how to put things together. But over time, we learn and we can make meaning. So what I learned through that experience, normally we write something and click enter. So instead of doing that, just write what you are searching for. I remember Bloomberg had, you can search for security, you can search for function. Similar here, you can search for securities, you can search for functions. So I have written BHP and I haven't written much, and there are some options coming here. So I'm interested in BHP, which is ordinary share listed in Australian Stock Exchange. The first option is coming, which I can click enter. So now I am on the BHP homepage. So now again, the strategy that I adopt, instead of going through everything up and down, I think with these TikToks and social media, the focus, the attention span has significantly dropped. We just want to get things done very quickly. And focus is required for research, for anything that you want to learn. Learning happens through focus and momentum. You keep on hitting one thing and you become the expert after some time. So now what is, so the first is the same, the workspace, the home page, and then the one that is whatever is available in Refinitiv, it is appearing here. Then something about the company starts from here. BHP Group Limited, Australian company, Australian Stock Exchange, diversified mining. So now what information we have about BHP? I called it as a table of contents. The table of contents with the big header, overview, news and research, price and charts, estimates, financials, ESG, events, ownership, debt and credit, parent valuation, derivatives, filings. So we have the main headings, and under each heading, you can navigate through subheadings. It's just like a table of content with links enabled. You keep on clicking the links. You go to the next page, you can come back to the table of contents. So as our focus is ESG, I'm going to focus on ESG information for BHP. If you want to load a different company, again use this search and load a different company. So on this ESG, now you can see they have ESG in particular. This climate map, as I was saying, it's new. Then they have FTSE Russell green revenues. It's also new. So they give information about green revenues of the companies. They categorize into green and conventional revenues. Not much is happening on this stage or on this, but some companies are starting to do it. But you can also analyze this. EU taxonomy, this is new as well. Sustainability dashboard, ESG statement view, fact sheet, SFDR, ESG peer analysis, ESG research, ESG controversies, ESG scoring profile. So there are a lot of information available through these headings, subheadings. So I'm going to click on ESG, just on the main, the heading here. I just clicked on it and it should open the ESG information. Yeah, here you go. You need patience. It has logged out.
Yeah. Now, what it is, I have the desktop and I moved to the browser.
Yeah.
And then when I connected the Excel, it forces you to go to the desktop. So yeah.
Yeah, somehow it's saying.
I think to do most of the work, you're better off downloading the desktop. Is that sort of,
Yeah, that is available there. Desktop is the app which is installed in the computer. I think it doesn't distract anything, so it's, yeah. So I clicked on ESG, and now under ESG, if I just come in the bottom in the next row, so it's showing something is new, which definitely we have added. And under there, now subheadings have been coming together. Previously, it was, I just bring the cursor here. They are appearing once I clicked on ESG. So now they are appearing sustainability, ESG statement, fact sheet, scoring profile, and all together. So ESG peer view, automatically my screen went there because I did some work when I left Workspace. So that's why it's here. Otherwise, you might start with the sustainability dashboard. Okay, so I'm just clicking on that. Yes, so sustainability dashboard. So here I will give an orientation, a quick overview of the ESG statement view. Because ESG statement view, you can download in one click all the ESG data for BHP for any listed company available in the workspace. Click one, it can be an excellent exercise in the classroom. So you can give that spreadsheet to the group of students, say, can you identify the strengths and weaknesses from this ESG statement view? So this is the ESG statement view. If we see on the left-hand side, so there are filters. So here filters. So if I scroll down, so there are different filters available. So you can play around those filters and you can hide those filters as well. If you are done with the filters and you want a bigger screen where the ESG information is available, you can play around that. You can bring the filters again by just clicking on it. So currently we are viewing the environmental pillar, standardized views, components, all matrices. The order is latest to oldest. The latest available is 2022, oldest 2020. Unpopulated rows, no. And the statement, only complete statements are available. If I click include partial, so 2023 and 2024 statements will also appear. Because Refinitiv is still coming up with those finalized statements. And let's say if I click include partial statements, and this is what if students are doing assignment in their coursework, they want latest data. So if we say them to analyze ESG performance of a company, they go to Refinitiv, they only find 2022 information. So then I advise them to use the partial information so that you are looking at the latest information. So you can see 2024, 2023 is available. Okay, let's go back to the complete. Yes, so you can bring more years if you want. You can say 5 years, 5-year ESG data will be available. And currently we are viewing the environment. What does it mean? I'm just going to show it now. Another thing I do in the output, so after filters, so let's put filters on hide. So if you put filters on hide and you scroll down, there's a lot of information available. Okay, so and this is all under environment. And then if I bring the filter to social, again, there will be a lot of information available. So what I normally suggest, once you're set up with the filter, we are doing environmental, so just collapse all. So if you collapse all, so now that's the screen that you're working with. And if you want to go for more information, you can have a look. So as we can see now, ESG combined score on the top. You see the ESG combined score of PHP C+ in 2022. What does C+ means? Because I just clicked on C+, it is showing the score is between 41.67 and less than equal to 50. And BHP is scored 44.64, and that's why it's C+. So Refinitiv have the range of scores based on which they categorize the rating. So that's the C+. And then under that, we have the ESG score, which is the self-disclosure of the ESG issues. And within that, 3 pillars, E pillars, S pillars, and governance pillar. And then we have the ESG controversy score. So ESG controversy score and ESG score, they are combined together in this ESG score. This is what we will start discussing in the start. And as we are on the environmental pillar, we have selected the environmental here. What additional categories we are seeing at the bottom of the screen is environmental subcategories. We are not seeing the social subcategories, governance subcategories, controversy scores. So now if you want to look at further into resource use score and their sub indicators, just expand that. So now you can see all the indicators under the resource use. And then you can expand the emission scores and go and do more analysis on the metrics level. Another thing that I liked here, I think just to touch on that point about the controversies, now you see ESG controversies, and for each of the indicators on the left-hand side, there is an I sign here, the information. You bring your cursor on that I, it gives the definition. The ESG combined, what does it mean? Because it says with an ESG controversies overlay to the disclosure ESG. And then ESG score, as I was saying, it is the company score based on the self-reported information. And the controversy score, it is a measure of companies' exposure to ESG controversies and negative events reflected in the global media. Okay, so now we can see BHP has D minus in the controversy. So now you see D minus, controversy score of BHP is 0.48. The range for D minus is between 0 to less than equal to 8.33. So from here we see if score is less, so there are more controversies. If score is more, there is no controversy. And when definitely bring it together, so now you see A is the ESG score, which is based on the self-reported information, which looks quite good, 88.81 score of BHP. When we look at the controversies, the score is 0.48. It means a lot of controversies happening. So now you put them together, the combined score has dropped from A ESG score to C plus ESG score. So now, yeah, so that was initial discussion that we are talking. There is I symbol here. That's another information in the weightings. So you see the environmental pillar scores 35.2% for BHP, social pillar 40.2%, and the governance pillar 24.6%. So for BHP, Refinitiv has given more weighting to social pillar, second environmental pillar, third governance pillar. But if you change the company to AGL, like energy company, you will see more weighting Refinitiv is giving to the environmental pillar and less to the other two. And if you go to Coles, Woolworths, maybe more to social, and then less to governance and environmental. So Refinitiv have their own weighting. And that's one of the reasons if you go to MSCI, S&P Global, Bloomberg, their rating of the same company might diverge because of the weighting they are using could be different. So that's another thing. You see this trophy sign? Trophy sign are the indicators or matrices which are considered in the grading of the company. So you can hide the matrices. You can only click on scoring matrices in the filters. So now the screen is only showing the scores with the trophies. So it means only those matrices which have been used in the rating of the BHP has been included there. So you may want to work only on those categories. As I was saying, they have 630 data points, and out of that, 186 comparable matrices they use to come up with the ESG combined score. And then there is a bar sign here for the graph. So if I click on that, for example, policy water efficiency. So it says if the company have that policy water efficiency, definitely gives true. If company does not have that policy, definitely gives false. So now we can see how BHP is comparable to its peers. So we just click on that graph. So now we can see in the metal and mining, how many companies have false on that policy, how many companies have true on that policy. For mining companies, we say water policy is important for the cleaning of the iron ores. So we can see most of the mining companies have that policy. Very few doesn't have. So you can have where BHP or particular companies compared to the pair. And this bar is available for all the indicators. So students can do a lot of interesting analysis on it for any assignments you're working with. And then in the data side, there are some text blue and some are white. So the blue text, normally we see it's a hyperlink. The Refinitiv claims that their data methodology, their sources from where they extract is transparent and it's publicly available. No information is hidden. So it's not proprietary, it's available to the market. For example, if I click on water policy efficiency for 2022, it's true for BHP. We can click on it and see from where Refinitiv have picked that information. So they have picked this information for 2022. Source, the document name was ESG standard and data book. And there is a link as well. You can click on it. It will take to the company website from where you can see the credibility of the information. Some links might not work if the company have switched the material to other links, so might not work. And it gives the page number, and it also gives the abstracts from based on which this information is extracted. Okay, so I think that's pretty much here for ESG statement view. Extraction of data, very simple. This single company, you see here PDF, you can extract the data in PDF and Excel as well. If I click on Excel, it asks for values, export or the formula export. So let's export as values. With formula, you can export if you want to change the formulas, you can work in Excel. But for this demonstration, we can export the file in Excel as values. Yes, so it's downloaded. It should be in Excel. Yeah, so this data is downloaded, exactly the same data which we were viewing in the workspace. So now on the top we have the main scores. Then we are currently viewing the environmental tab here, and then resource use, emissions, and innovation. We can move on to the next tab, social. It keeps the main information on top, but the categories now we are seeing is from the social workforce, human rights, community, product responsibility, governance, and then there are subcategories of the governance and indicators. And controversies are also listed here. Any controversy which has true, it means there is a controversy. False means no, and the number represent number of controversies. So that is also available. One of my PhD student was looking at ESG information related to supplier. So what we did, we downloaded this Excel spreadsheet and we started looking at if there is anything related to supplier. For example, if I just search for supplier, it's not coming here. Yeah, so supplier ESG training. So we just picked up anything companies are doing in this related to supplier. So because he wanted to investigate companies' attention to the ESG issues of the suppliers. If the company does it, whether when banks give lending to these companies, whether they give loan on a high premium or low premium, because supply chain issues in terms of modern slavery and other issues, they are deep down. We just wanted to see if insignificant results, maybe banks have not started integrating things like that. So still it is the work, it is the proposal stage. We are looking into developing a full paper in months to come. Yeah, these things you can do. You can download this spreadsheet. You can see if the information is available related to your research that you are doing. Okay, so that was easy statement view. I'm not going into other sections, but I just click on climate map, which I said it's new, which is a potential for researchers who want to use this information for their project. So now there are different filters. You can get the information based on those filters. But again, I want to start from climate map to the next row. In the next row, we have information under climate map about management of climate issues, targets, ambitions, and performance related to those targets. If I click on management, so now we see information is appearing related to management indicators, what policies and related actions management is setting up. And then the ambitions is primarily the targets, and then the performance, actual carbon information, CO2 emissions, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, downstream, upstream, and their methodology. And there in the filters, I think the interesting thing they have added is they have also included the carbon disclosure project, CDP, which is the voluntary survey sent to the top companies. Some companies participate, some companies do not participate. So the information from CDP disclosure is also available in the workspace in terms of performance, in terms of ambitions, in terms of management. And you can go to previous years, and you can also bring in unpopulated rows so that you see sometimes companies might not be disclosing the targets on different issues. So they might, so let's change it here. For example, target 1, there is no information available. Target 2, no information. Target 3, there is information. This is short term. We just scroll down. Long-term targets, no information is available here. So one of my PhD students, as I was saying, I said this could be no information because Refinitiv might be still populating it. It's new, so might need to check with the Refinitiv if something is like dash, 2 dash, what does it mean? It means the company is not disclosing anything, not doing, or is it just missing information? If missing, then it means in those years the company is not doing anything on these issues. Okay, so other things you can explore. I encourage you to explore all the subtabs. Very important information. I integrated my teaching. There is a potential to integrate in your teaching as well as appropriate. If you're interested in going through step-by-step guide on these, I have tutorials on my YouTube channel, which you can have a look if you're interested. Yeah, you can follow the guide. It makes things easy, maybe 5-10 minutes on each subtab. I've given examples and elaboration on that. So that was pretty much in terms of teaching and use of Refinitiv for single company analysis that could be done. There is a ESG pair analysis as well. So students can also compare PHP with the rest of the pairs. And the pairs can be selected in the same industry, outside the industry. It can go deeper into specific sectors and narrow it down. It can be based on different years. It can be small companies, large companies, and medium cap companies. So there are different parameters based on which one company can be compared with the other company on ESG issues. It can be ESG, ESG, any specific indicator. If you are interested in boardroom gender diversity, how many females sitting on the board, you can go to the ESG pair view statement and you can select one company, BHP, but then you say all the salient companies you want to see. And that column is added and you can rank them and you can see where BHP stands in terms of boardroom gender diversity compared to all these salient companies. And you can add European companies. You can narrow it down to large companies only because BHP is large company. So a lot of things can be done. So in my online tutorials, I have demonstrated that so that if you're interested, you can watch. So now you can think about research, bulk data download. If you have to download the data in bulk, how we can do it. There are different methods available. I will stick to method 1 given the time constraint, and then quick demonstration of some other data that you can extract related to ESG and sustainable finance. And then I have to, on special request, I have to talk about my reflections. In particular, what my PhD journey looked like, and if I have done something building, anything I build, what I learned at Griffith, I will sprinkle some of those. But if any other talk is required, on especially from lecturer to senior lecturer and onward, I'm happy to give an online talk whenever is required. Okay, so method 1, using Refinitiv Screener Lab. The example, very basic example, extract the ESG scores of US listed companies for the last 3 years, 2020 to 2022. So now you can add E, environmental score, S, social score, G, governance score. Within E, you can go for subcategories, S, subcategories, G, subcategories. Within subcategories, indicators. You have your regression model based on the literature, any new variable you are interested to test in your hypothesis. If data is available in Refinitiv, if you follow this procedure, for one variable, overall ESG score, the rest is just the replication. Okay, so, and for US market, just again an example, you can follow this process for any market, all the global markets, Middle East, South Asian market, whatever market you are interested in. 3 years as a sample, because I don't want to put 20 variables for 30 markets and 20 years, then I think we will have to wait for a few weeks, and then I can start speaking again. Okay, so in terms of instructions, they are here. I added them just for your later reference, but these are the instructions which I think they will work if you have the recording available. Some of the steps you might say, what's happening here because I haven't added the screenshots. I might go back and work with my PhD students and say, here's the draft which I prepared for Griffith and for my UQ workshop. Let's work on it and make it a full-fledged manual, which can be shared and it becomes step-by-step guide. So just for today, instead of following these steps, I'm going to the workspace and demonstrating it from there. So this is what we were doing on BHP, a single company analysis. So now again in this search, I'm going to use the screener app. So I just wrote screener. Again, screener, just wait for some time. Instead of clicking, there are different options appearing. In the first, it says, so it says app. So there are deal screener, private equity, exit screener, the different screener available. I want to go for general screener. And within that, I can go for deal screening. I can go for public company screening and so on and so forth. So this one is one I'm interested in, screener app. So I click on screener. So it's loaded. So again, what's the point I was discussing? Any new screen you are in, this looks quite clean, but any new screen you are in, then breathe for a few seconds, few minutes, have a look at it. And once you know it, yeah, you have a grip of it. So now we are in this screen. So on the top, as you remember, I brought the bar. So that is still showing here. But interested in the related to our data download starts from here. Screen. I sometimes, because there's so much information, sometimes we just skip. So you see here next to screen, there is a question mark. So if I click on question mark, it's the help to screener app. So if you want to become expert in screener app, you will get started after today's workshop. Some of you are already advanced, some are just starting. But if you want to understand anything about screener app, then click on this link. It will open and you can have a look at that. Okay, so I click, I don't know if it is opening. Yeah, it says Firefox prevented, but that guide is available. So you can navigate it through. So on the left-hand side, we have screens. So we have unsaved screen, the currency in which you want to download the data. ESG data is non-financial information, so currency becomes less relevant unless or until if there are some currencies related indicators, this becomes relevant. Then universe. Under universe, you can do a few things. And then there are quick filters and there are add filters here. So this is something you can do with screen. So we are interested in downloading data for listed companies in US, in the States. Okay, so it means we need to screen public companies, public US listed companies. Okay, so that's why filters will become important. And once we apply these filters, on the right-hand side in the middle, you see the report. So our screened list of companies will be appearing there. And then we can add ESG variable or any variable we want to add in this report section. The first step is identify the list of companies in US and then collect the data. And once it is there, the download is very easy. It's an Excel tab, you download it. So that's something. So let's start with identifying the US companies. I think this is the hardest part. If we don't have information how to use Refinitiv, identifying the list was one of the things that I found many people struggled. Because you can come to this and you don't know how to bring the list of companies, you can't get the data. So how to get it done? So you see public companies, you also have private companies and other, but I'm currently focusing on public companies, US. So just focus here. And then if I click edit here, you can include, by default, it is only the active companies, but you may also want to include the inactive companies. Okay, so I'm keeping it as default active. And then the next is include list, portfolio, screen, stocks. And here is that step list. So you want to identify list of US companies. So I click on this edit. So now new dialog box has opened in this one. And it says the list. I can search for list here, but I advise not to do that because if you search, it may take longer time and nothing is happening, then you may quit and then say it's not working. I'm not going to download data from here. So instead of that, there's three dots here. So it's, I think something is processing here. I click on that. It will open, I think again, Firefox is saying that they are blocked.
I clicked on it. It's taking a good 5 seconds.
It's saying Firefox is not supported. Might switch to Google Chrome. Let's see if it works. Yeah, so it worked now. So I clicked on those 3 dots. So now the new interface has opened. So it will show recently viewed. So again, from the left-hand side, right from the start, you just understand what is available. Favorite indices, all indices, LSEG indices. Through my different hits and trials, I learned that the easiest way is you click on all indices because we need S&P index. So click on all indices, and then in the search, you search for FR. So Refinitiv have added FR with their own indices. So we know S&P 500, but Refinitiv have their own indices, which may be exactly the S&P 500, and Refinitiv might have added more securities to it. So any Refinitiv index is named starting with FR. Previously, it was, I think, Refinitiv. So Refinitiv was written. So when I recorded some of the videos for my online tutorials, so it was Refinitiv. And then I started receiving the queries, we are not getting the same results. Then I did the search, I said, Refinitiv have changed. So then I added the command and pinned it on my videos that if someone is using it now, instead of searching through Refinitiv ESG index, search with FR. So I searched with FR. Then the third thing, so first is all indices, second FR, the third is filter under the owner, the indices which are LSEG indices. As I said, LSEG is the new name for Refinitiv. So LSEG indices, and click done. So now those indices are appearing here. Okay, so we are interested in FR United States. I think somehow it is not showing all the indices. It is only showing the index that we are interested in. But normally when we filter for LSEG indices, it will show all the LSEG indices which has the word FR attached to that. For my own research, what I have done, I have identified all those FR LSEG indices. I have prepared the favorite list. So in that favorite list, I don't need to repeat these steps. I go to the favorite list. Now all the word FR indices are appearing in my favorite list. So that I think this is something that I encourage all the PhD students to do it because it saves you time. So you do not need to repeat things a lot. One thing, you have favorites, you can reuse them. So in that favorite, you can see all the companies, all the countries around the globe are appearing. I think they are already sorted, so I can sort them through securities here. Let's see if it is sorting. So normally if we sort, maybe because of the browser is not supportive, then any securities with the more, in any list with the more securities included in that will come on the top. For example, FR Global. So FR Global contains all the listed companies included in the Refinitiv universe. So you may select FR Global, bring in the screen, but Refinitiv does not load it if the list of companies is more than 5,000. So then you need to apply the filters to narrow down your list and bring it to less than 5,000. So I'm not going into that, but
Sorry, if I can just, the 5,000, is that's just a Refinitiv limit that says you can only do this 5,000 at a time?
at a time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because they don't want things to be done.
Yeah, millions. Yeah, they don't want everyone to suck up all the data.
Yeah, so no one is then using it. So yeah, so here is all the companies. Let me see where is the S&P 500. Yes, so the last one. It's not showing. Let me see if I can click. So that's FR United States 500. So I selected that, click OK. So now it's showing here. So if you know exactly the same name, you can search for it here. But sometimes definitely keep changing, then it's better to go to the full list and then search it from there. So once I have loaded it, and same steps we apply for any index from any market, which is in the Refinitiv. I have already have the favorites with FR. So click OK. So now you will see, because FR S&P is 500, so it has loaded. But if I load FR Global, it will say you are over the limit. And then you can, I think you can apply filters based on countries and you can download the data one by one. So here are the list of companies in S&P 500 in the Refinitiv index. So that is loaded. So now, normally based on my research, I exclude the companies which are in the financial sector, because they are different based on their operating structure. So now how you can do that, you can go, so now we have added the universe, you can see for United States. Now quick filters, I can filter those companies out. Or you can keep them and bring it in your stata, or you can exclude them there. But if you really want to exclude from the start, you can do it here. For example, you can say gigs industry sector. It's here, you can add that filter. So it's opening at the bottom. I want to exclude the financial sector. The financial. Okay, done. So now the financial, you can see the banks and any financial sector, they are excluded. So previously it was 500 companies. So now it will be 400 something that you want to work with, 423. So the count is appearing here. And you can also apply more filters. You want to exclude companies which have return on asset less than 10% or have return on asset negative, sales negative, or something, something. If there are some outliers, you want to make sure nothing is coming here. So you can exclude, add more filters using the same approach. There are quick filters which Refinitiv have added by default. If you're working with the international data, country of exchange becomes important. So you want to see from which country of exchange. Like if I have added FR Global, and then I have Refinitiv says there is a limit to 5,000. I still want to keep FR Global, but I add here country of exchange. I say some countries in Europe or in Pakistan. So then if I say only include companies in Pakistan, from FR Global, Refinitiv will then only include companies from Pakistan and give it here, companies from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, China, and bring it here. Okay, so you can add as many filters you want to filter, clean up your list, a list that you want. So here is the list that we want to work with. I think for research, the unique identifiers are important. So you can add some static information to this list. For example, Eikon codes. So I'm adding it here. So it says add columns. So I just wrote Eikon code. So I added Eikon code. So you can see new column is added. So on the left-hand side, filters we use to come up with the finalized list of companies. In the middle, add column here, we use it now to add the data points, data types. So any data types you want. Some static data points which do not change, I normally search here and keep adding. For example, QSIP, another identifier, extended and code. You can read the definition. Once I bring the cursor, they also show the definition. You can see which one matches with your research. QSIP extended, let's add it here, because if your data is coming from multiple databases and they have to merge together, then there should be a unique identifier, which you can use in both databases to combine. So I have added Eikon and QSIP, that's fine. You can keep adding company, any company address, headquarter, country of exchange, because we are focusing only on US, it will be only US. But if you're working in multiple companies from multiple countries, you can add country of exchange or headquarter. You can keep adding. So that's something you can add some static variables. Then what was the example? What data we are downloading? Which variable? ESG score. So now ESG score, I can add ESG here. Again, add column. I can provide more information, ESG score. So now it is giving few options. The first one, ESG score. Let's say I'm not downloading the combined ESG score. The combined is also available here. Let's stick to the basic ESG score. It's giving the definition. I'm happy with it. If I click on it, Refinitiv will add only the ESG score of the last financial year, FY0. Okay, so it will not bring for last 3 years. If you have to add ESG score for more than 1 year or any variable which is for more than 1 year, instead of searching here, click on these 3 dot points. It says launch data item library. So if I click on that, so now again, it has a like new user interface. It can be quite daunting at the start, but I start with the left, go to the right, then from top to bottom. That's it. So there are 4 things. One is categories. All the categories which I can extract through this screener app. We are interested in ESG. So if I go down somewhere up, I might have missed. Yeah, environmental, social, and governance. And if I can bring it here. Yeah, so it will show how many indicators are here, 200 plus indicators. So this is one thing. Second, I can search for the variable in the middle. Instead of going from the categories, if I know the variable name, I can search. I think it's very handy. For example, if I am interested in auditor related research, I can just put audit, and now Refinitiv will provide me all the information available with word audit is available. One of my PhD student is using audit fees, and with the corporate political spending disclosure, whether there is an interaction or not. It's again the work in progress. Will be presented at URW conference and some external conferences, and will be polished over time, and then it will be submitted. And we did the same because audit related data normally Refinitiv is not have expertise in that. There are different databases which normally our universities are not subscribed with. Then we have to live with what data is available and then see if it explains the issue that you're trying to resolve. If you are interested in anything about green, just write green and see if something with green is appearing. Green drilling, green capex, green capex target. Might be data is not available for many companies, but if you work with large companies around the globe, maybe something is there to work with. Anything social, the word social, then there will be anything linked with social, it will be coming here. Okay, so that's it. I think I will use the categories from the left just to show you how to narrow it down. So environmental, social, and governance, we are interested not in pillars, we are interested in ESG analytics. So under ESG analytics, we are interested in ESG indicator scores. Okay, so if I click on that, that will appear. Yeah, we are interested in this one, Refinitiv ESG scores and grades, because we are interested in overall ESG score. If I click on that, there are 32 different scores and grades available. I think the categories might be available. Yes, subcategories are also available under E, S, and G. So we are downloading the ESG score, not the grade. Grade is A plus, A, D for those. But we are interested in ESG score. I click on that. So now you're not sure whether this is the ESG score you want in. There is a definition coming in the bottom here. It's the same score that we were talking, self-reported information in ESG by the company. So yes, I'm interested in that. I want to add this. Yeah, before adding this, so now we need data for 3 years. So there is a way we can download data in series, but there is an issue with the series data, because if you download the data in series, Refinitiv, and we say, let's say if I click series and if I say last 3 years, so now last 3 years, Refinitiv will give the data FY0, FY1, and FY2. There could be possibility that FY0 have the information about one company in 2023, another company in 2022. So yeah, if you use that data extracted and use it in your regression, you are not having the data points in the same year. So that's an issue. I have reported it to LSEG. This we are working. If they solve this issue, these data download methods become very easy and convenient. But I'm not going into that in my online tutorial. I have explained. I think you might have seen some of the tutorials. You're nodding very heavily. Whatever I'm saying, maybe I'm repeating for you. So,
and this is really important. It's not a trap, but it slows you down. You're trying to get things lined up. Time series
you can
matters.
sort it later on, but again, it's a hurdle. And maybe there could be errors. So normally what I do instead of series, I untick it, and in the financial period, I write here FY 2022. That's it. And there are show more. You can play around, do some formatting, treat as zero if not available. You can leave as it is. Again, there is an issue. One of my PhD students is using research on ESG controversies, and there are a lot of NAs. So now the question is whether that NA is missing or it's zero. If you put zero, then it has become a completely different meaning. If missing, then that will be lost from the regression equation. So we have asked the student contact Refinitiv, but they don't have the answer to that because so you need the expert in the product to explain that. That becomes challenge. And we said NA not available. We say it's missing because keeping zero means either company is very poor, because zero score very poor, then it becomes an issue there. Or if we treat 1, 0, 1 is a controversy and 0 is no controversy, then 0, if it is not reported, it's missing. 0, if we keep it, it means no controversy, company is good, but it's not, it might not be the truth. Yeah, so things like that you can do in the, you can address here. Let's say we want data for 2022, I click OK. So now that column is being added. At the time the column is being added, I want data for second year as well. Though that ESG score is appearing in the recently used. I'm not taking series. I go for 2021. So I don't change anything. Okay. So let's stick to 2 years because other years just keep adding, becoming repetitive. And similarly, you add total assets, you add any current ratios, you keep on adding profitability indicators, leverage, solvency, any other ESG issues, you keep adding. So now it is available here. That's good. If you want to drop any of these columns, it's very easy. Let's say QSIP, you want to drop, it's drop. You want to bring Eisen at the start. I don't know if this browser will allow. So you can bring the Eisen codes at the start. It has brought, so it's here. Yeah, you can drag and change the orientation of the. You just bring them wherever you feel appropriate. You can do it in Strata, but you can do it here as well. Okay, so that's the data we need, ESG data, any variable you can keep adding. If you're working on grouping this information at an industry level, that's also possible. You go to group, and within group, you have some predefined definitive grouping. So let's say industry, you have X. So you can click on that if it is appearing. I think my browser is saying I need to stop talking about Refinitiv now. Yeah. So you can group the companies based on that. It's not allowing at this moment. So you click OK, then all the information will be consolidated into industry. So you just see the industry and the average. If you click on that, it will expand what companies are included in that industry. Okay, you can also add ranks if you want to rank companies based on multiple parameters. You have them in your report. You can rank them as well. Okay, so that's it. So now, because you may want to work on global companies for 30 variables for 10 years, if you repeat this process again and again, it becomes quite daunting. So I suggest that you have your favorite filters. If you have added 10 filters to screen the companies, then there is a way to screen it here, to save the screen. So yes, say save screen. Screen save means all the filters that you have applied here, they are screened. So you say US forms, that's it, something. You can customize it because this is, of course, US forms, non-financial you can add, and you save. So next time you log in to Refinitiv, come to the screener app. So you can search for that screen. It will be automatically loaded. You don't need to redo the stuff. And same you can do to save your template. Because now we have added X industry name, Eisen code, ESG score for 2 years. one by one. If you have done it for 20 variables, 20 years, so it becomes so many columns. And if you change the list and you have not saved the screen, you have to redo all these things for a new list. So now you have saved the list, you can bring new list, bring European companies, but if you have saved, you need the same data for European companies, for South Asian companies. I suggest you save the screen. And you have all 20 variables for 20 years, one by one you have added. You can say ESG bulk data something. So your all controls, ESG controls, anything that you require for your regression model. So save that. So next time you change the screen here, the list here, you want to bring the saved screen. So in the drag down, those some of my screens are there. Yeah, you haven't saved much, but normally my PhD students, when they're working on the global data set, they have done that. They have their screens, they have their templates, because no repetition required. And if other PhD student need the data, if someone have already set it up, maybe sitting together and downloading from that account becomes relatively easy. Okay, so once it is there, then there is an Excel tab here, Excel icon. So if I click on that, export as values. So now you just imagine it is many variables for many years, repeating this step for all countries you're interested in. So the data will be downloaded in Excel. Yeah. So now the Excel has all the columns, and then you need to reshape it in the panel format, which requires certain steps. Some people do it in R, Stata directly. I have elaborated steps which are applicable to all types of researcher. Very basic step, you do something in Excel, and then you take it to the Stata, and then you reshape into the panel format. Okay, so that's, I think, pretty much. If you have any question here for this screen that I can answer. Otherwise, in terms of the steps I have listed here, and if you are interested in reshaping the data following simple steps, you might use programming, that's up to you. And one of my tutorial has already elaborated. After you have downloaded in Excel, follow some steps in this tutorial, it will be easy. So now example 2, example 3 becomes repetitive. You need European firms, go to list, FR Europe list, bring it to your list, exclude financial firms or any firms that you're not interested. So now instead of ESG, go to the data launch library, search for environmental score, and add those years in your sample. It becomes easy. You're interested in GCC firms, not much data is available, but still there are some firms which have the ESG data you can play around. And if you want financial data of GCC companies are available. I think Professor Riza Monin was here. I think some of his PhD students worked on GCC data. I remember I was PhD student. We used to talk a lot, and some of them had to collect the data manually. Yeah, so manual data is good if it can give novel insights and less competition risk, but it takes time. But you can use that data for longer. So if it has meaningful insights. Okay, so then there is method 2. I think instead of going through that, there are 2 tutorials available online. This file is available with you. I have explained step-by-step guide. Data extraction to data reshaping, both tutorials are available. And some researchers may have the Eisen codes from a different data set. They are working on, let's say, Compustat or some other. I think Compustat may not have Eisen code, but they might be working on a data set which is extracted from different database, and it has an Eisen code. Maybe 100 companies across the globe in the sample. And it has an Eisen code. So now you don't need all US companies, all your global companies. You just need data for those 100 companies which are in your sample, which you are interested in. You can use the data string formula function through Excel, and you can bring the Eisen codes, and you can then extract the data for those Eisen codes. Okay, so that's also available. Unfortunately, no online tutorial available on this. But if there is any, I think if you follow these steps, then it should be easy. The guide I was talking, Refinitiv Eikon, a beginner guide to downloading data for researchers with my PhD students. I think I'll share the file with Robert. And in case if the new manual is ready after a few weeks and few months, as I was saying, I will also provide it to Robert so that it can be shared.
Thank you very much.
So what I did in this, I think one of the things I really enjoyed working with PhD student, of course, developing my leadership skills, managing, putting people, HDR students in different teams and allocating the task. Allocating the task which best suits the person expertise because it was voluntary. PhD students are not paid for that. And I had to make a very strong case. What are the benefits we can get out of it? Benefits for me, benefits for everyone, so that we know why we are doing this exercise. So I think I'll share it with Robert. It has all these screenshots. You see, it looks quite polished. And if the new Refinitiv Workspace manual comes in, it will follow the same process where all the screenshots. We have tried, tested several times, but it is applicable for Eikon, which was the water product. The University of Southern Queensland still have the same. I'm giving a talk tomorrow, and instead of Workspace, I will be focusing on Eikon. So, and the thing that I'm learning over time, which is the last part of this manual, the credit statement. So what each student have done. Now I know when I'm working as a lecturer, senior lecturer, academic, if I see the future of PhD student, the career progression, I need to create some of their performance evidences which are publicly available so that they can easily say XYZ go and this YouTube video, my contributions are highlighted. This document is publicly available. I shared it on LinkedIn. Their profiling has already been done. And I asked them, can you put your contribution, what you did? And they added their contributions and following the credit statement and my contribution as well. What was my my main motivation behind it? I have explained it. You can read it later on. What was my intention of doing it?
That's really good. I like that. You know, you're bringing, you know, we're all signing credit statements for our research, and I've never thought about it in terms of creating resources for teaching. So yeah, it's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah, I think just 3 minutes on the remaining apps. I think we run out of time. I still want to go for reflection briefly. I think in my manual, I said you can filter out companies based on predefined screens. Okay, so if I go to the Word file, I have added some screens like only screen companies in Australia which have ESG score greater than 75, means A or A plus score. Only the top performing companies in ESG. Then I have set some governance screens, like if the companies do not have CEO duality, the board diversity is 30% or more, board independence is 50% and more. I try to align it with the corporate governance principles of 2019. I hope they are revised soon because they become quite old now, given so many changes happening. So I put some criteria and I do it in my teaching. So I ask students to screen companies based on these filters, environmental filters, social filters, and for my repetition of this, so normally I have to go to Screener app and then add those filters here. In the same way, any filter you want to add, you can add the filter. But I have added those screens. I have saved those screens. For example, ESG screen. So ESG screen is, I'm saying do not save. Yes, you see left-hand side at the bottom, Australian companies, I added this filter, country of exchange. I wrote here, country of exchange, include Australia only. And then and, you can convert and to or as well, just click on it. ESG score greater than equal to 75. So I searched for ESG, then I said greater than equal to 75. And governance pillar 75 or greater. Social environment pillar, social pillar 75. Some companies might perform good in one pillar, not good in other. But if any investor, we are interested in company which looks good in ESG in all aspects, and we can bring in then return on asset, return on equity to see whether those companies are also doing well as well. Because doing good and doing well, and yeah, I do it in my classroom just to elaborate. So now in Australia, the companies which have 75% or greater equal score in ESG, E, S, and G, there are you can count them. So some of the banks are appearing, and you can look some companies, health companies, and some of them. So yeah, they are appearing here. You can relax these conditions. Let's say on social pillar, you might not be interested, you can say, or just bring either this environmental pillar or social pillar. Now the list has expanded because you're a bit more flexible with the social, with the all criteria to be met, or some criteria might be alternative to each other. Yeah, so I have added those screen, ESG screen, social screen, and environmental and governance screens. You can do it on your own. Uh, one more thing, then I just wind up this one. ESG screen. So we are in the screener app now. And in the screener app, you see the public companies here. So instead of public companies, if you want to work on the transaction level data, loan transactions, mergers and acquisitions, private equity, so just click on this deals. Do not save again. So now we are in the deals. So now under deals, the asset class, now we have mergers and acquisitions. If I just scroll down, equity, bonds, loans, project finance. So if you're interested in loan transactions, just click on loans, and then you can add some filters. You can bring the report and you can work on that. You're interested in bonds, you can do that. You are interested in green loans, green bonds, you can also filter for that. I have saved a screen which should appear here. GSSS bonds, which is the green social sustainability and sustainability linked bonds in Australia. So whoever has issued, if the borrower or issuer is in Australia and the bond is issued in Australia, I'm just interested in that. And the bond should be classified into GSSS. So if I do apply that filter, you see those filters you can search here, but those filters are, I have already saved it. So target market, issuer borrower nation, target transaction nation. So 155 transactions. You can pick some of them for a case study in your class and you can do it. At this moment, I haven't seen much research using this data set in the published papers. There are a few papers. I saw one paper in JFE, I think determinants of the sustainability linked bond pricing, the premium. Yeah, so it's something maybe potential here. If you're interested, you can have a look at that. I think that's it. Other things are in the manual, some quick apps. You can search for them. Sustainable finance and investment. You search in the search bar, a new app will appear which has all the resources, solutions, and about us. You can navigate it through. If you want to have a review of sustainable finance in the global market, what is happening, what are the trends, use it as some to inspire students, what's happening in that. There are reports available from Refinitiv. Someone is interested in Islamic finance, heaps of data is available. Middle Eastern students sometimes come here, they want to do research on that. It's available. There are some pre-built ESG templates that's also available, and the Refinitiv Workspace certification, which from where we started. And I look forward to seeing some LinkedIn posts where Griffith students are doing. I keep seeing John Fan is doing a lot. Somehow his posts keep showing me. Yesterday he appeared in some, I think some industry workshop he has done. Yeah, so I will look forward to that shortly.
Me too.
Okay, so if you have any question on this, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, send me an email if there is any special case. If I know, I will explain. Otherwise, I will explore and try to find the solution for you. Passionate, I know 12 minutes for this journey which was for, I think now it has 12 years passed since the start of my PhD, 2013 to 2024. I have to capture some of the insights in 12 minutes. I might go a little bit longer if not finishing time. So apologize for that. PhD journey at Griffith University. I did a PhD and I did not go mad. I know when we are doing a PhD, it looked like everything is crazy. But after PhD, you can make sense of many things. Training is hard. Yeah, once you are out of it, you become independent scientist. Then time comes when many people will want to work with you. So that's it. And then you are standing here, you're concerned about reviewer, you're concerned about candidature, confirmation of candidature, mid candidature milestone, early candidature milestone. I still remember those names. So and then you have you're concerned about examiners. Yeah, but you have to pay your way in a way that they have no other option but to hold the flowers for you when you're passing. You can do it. Everything is in your control. If you do excellent work with your supervisors, you go out of the way, you pursue excellence, then those will be, if not flowers, at least they will not throw their swords at you. Not revisions are common, they happen, rejections are common. But yeah, so your thesis, you have to walk that path. Supervisors are excellent resource, some senior academics, they try to benefit from there. Yeah, it's not a straightforward path. I think Benjamin is sitting here. I must admit, first year, second year, I used to say, yeah, why this is not happening, why this is not happening, why not I bring something, everything it goes to another thing. I thought it's the end of my data collection, but then new things come up, new things come up. That's very normal. This is what I feel now. I inculcate in my PhD student, say it's normal. And giving that signal as a senior lecturer now, at least give them comfort that if it is normal, then I should just follow the advice and pursue the excellence. I should be Dr. XYZ in 3 to 4 years' time. Okay, this is my journey, PhD in finance from Griffith University 2013-2017. After that, I did not get a job for 2 years, but I was fortunate to have a lot of teaching experience at Griffith University, 4 or 5 subjects every semester. 2017 autumn semester, 4 subjects, 1 at University of Southern Queensland. 2018 trimester 1, 3 subjects. Some of them are lecture plus tutorial, some of them just tutorial. And then 2018 semester 2, spring semester, again 3 subjects. Yeah, so I got a lot of experience. I think I know more of the Griffith Bachelor program than of UW because I got experience in everything. Banking and finance, investment analysis. So I'm just going in an order. So first finance subject. I know Robert used to quote about QUT. They have finance 1, finance 2, finance 3. So we have the money banking and finance, investment analysis. Then if you go towards banking, financial institution management, then real estate finance, second year subject, 2211, something like that.
Yeah.
Then you go to third year advanced corporate finance, credit and lending, then post-credit derivatives and risk management, behavioral finance and management, and corporate finance. So these are more or less the subjects that I got exposure. Some during my PhD, but mostly after PhD. I see some of these students have excellent research track record, but if you have to get a job, only research track record for a balanced academic will not work. Maybe you are fortunate, but to be very harsh, you need to develop the teaching expertise. You can look at some of the advertisement. Currently, no finance advertisement. There is an accounting advertisement in UWA. One of my PhD students is preparing for that. Lot of teaching, and students have little teaching. So now, in addressing the selection criteria, what to add there? So now had to work on teaching for maybe 1 year, 2 years, and at the same time publishing to prepare for the job market. But I was fortunate. So in this brief talk, I'll focus on the insights from my PhD journey at Griffith and sprinkle something which helped me in my career progression. This is a favorite. I must give credit to Robert. Said in the first year, you are holding hands of your supervisors. The second year, you're standing a bit far. In the third year, you are alone in the screen, and that's the trend. If supervisors say go do it yourself, know that independence is required. But I was talking with Robert last Friday. Robert shared his insights. Some supervisors want to hold hands throughout the journey. Some supervisor may leave the hands from the start. So now, if all these strategies are intentional and the end goal is to make you independent scientists, it works well. But if these strategies, holding the hand throughout the journey, are not holding the hand at all, it is at the cost of making you independent researcher, then I think supervisors might have to change and adopt a new, a more appropriate strategy. Like I said, the first year is investment, then you have to hold on to that investment, and then the return will come. So if you look at if you're looking, I think PhD students sometimes look at the thesis. I did the same. But there's so many small victories happening in the journey. A victory could be conference paper acceptance. It's something small. You need to have coffees, and I can't remember how many coffees I had with Benjamin. Maybe hundreds of coffees. Anything happen, let's go for coffee. Every week, something meeting happening, some formal, some informal. Benjamin used to come to my office instead of I'm going there. He used to say, "Do you have time? Let's go for a coffee." And I think I could not follow those footprints because COVID hit. Things have changed. The student supervisor interaction, I think, even for me as a supervisor now, have diluted up to some extent, where everyone is working remotely and visual and in person, there is a huge difference. Okay, so that is what I like. I think I put a context. You have seen an advertisement. I'm just saying it is 2017, June. I graduated in March 2017, and I got the permanent residency. Again, for international student, that is something. As Robert was saying, it's a long journey. When he was introducing me, I was thinking these hurdles as well. Sometimes you may need working rights. Some colleagues also got this position without working right and university is sponsored. I don't know the current environment, but for that you need to have an excellent profile to attract that option, that real option, you can say. Okay, so then I searched in Google, there are some jobs in Australia. Now currently there is no. There was one in Newcastle, I think Griffith also advertised previously. Some in management, there are jobs coming into marketing. Economics, there is a job in RMIT. Uh, there is one in accounting. I checked, they have become quite demanding. Some are putting expertise in R, Python, um, generative AI. So I think for us, when we have so many things, update will be quite slow. For PhD students, you have the time. This is the best time. I know thesis is important, but keeping track of the market trends and integrating them in your PhD and then becoming ready for the job market. Okay, so this was my PhD, just briefly, my true supervisor, Benjamin and Jen Jesu. And my research have evolved over time. You don't see ESG and sustainable finance here, but governance is part of ESG. So now I have taken a step back. ESG, I'm doing research on environmental, social, and governance issues. And that is the another thing you may evolve in your PhD research over time. This is one of my favorite. So as a PhD student, you need to have a pipeline. Okay, so I said publish or perish. Some people criticize it. There are new terms coming, but I'm just saying I'm thinking that if publications are still valued in your entry to the job market, they are valued. But you need teaching, you need other surveys, you need to demonstrate you can work in teams, you can apply for grants. So they are important. But publications are still the core. You can't deny. That's the hardcore. And Benjamin used to say, nothing can beat A star. I will show how many submissions I had during my PhD. 20. 20 times we submitted papers to the journal. And out of that, I think 8 successful, revise and resubmit, and 11 rejections from A stars. But now I have the experience. At least I know where I stand. If I ask my PhD students to submit, I can see whether it can go or it cannot go based on my experience. Okay, so this is the pipeline. I think you need to have papers. Thesis is important. Those 3 papers you're writing are important. And then you build on that as you move towards the final year of your PhD. You start having some future projects, work in progress, working papers, and then some. If you publish everything, then you're not bringing any working papers. Administration knows once you join us, you will be busy with teaching, surveys, so many things. Don't have pipeline, then it will be hard for you to navigate. If you have pipeline, straight away you come R&R, conditional acceptance, you are a cash flow. You give the output straight away. I think that is another insight you may want to look at. So this was by 2017 June, I had these 7 publications. How many A rank? 1, 2, 3, 4A ranked. I remember when I joined UAW, John Fenn was graduating. He said, there is a norm. If you publish 2 A's, you get a job. That was 2014, somewhere around there. By the time I was graduating, the norm had become 4 to 6, somewhere around that. That was the environment we were living at that time. So now I think things have even gone beyond. And in addition to publications, some other online teaching experience things have also come up. So it was here 20 times, 10 different journals, 8 times, 5 A's, 1B, 2C successful, 11 times, 8 A stars, Journal of Financial Markets, Journal of Banking and Finance, Journal of Corporate Finance, and JFQA. So yeah, these were the few journals in A star I tried. It was not successful at that time. And one we were waiting JFQA with Seva, one of the junior with me and supervision arrangement, which was not rejected from JFQA. Then we had one more author added from Monash. We worked as a team, new insights from. Sometimes you need to have a person in a team which can bring some insights from the top. That's all. That's perfect. If they can bring insights, they can help us move to the next step. That's fine as well. So we got JFM paper out of that. JFQA it was rejected, but JFM we have got that. So at that time I had this pipeline I was working with, and this is the paper I was referring. Rejection from one A star, but acceptance in other. But one more author was also there. Awards and grants. I gave one talk at NZEM, which was organized by a PhD student, Victoria Lister. So somehow they contacted me, can I give an inspirational talk for ECRs and PhD students on attracting grants? And one of the things he said, we normally don't get training on applying for grants, but when we apply for job, one of the selection criteria is at least the willingness or future grant applications should be there. But as a PhD student, I'll focus on thesis, everything there. And my point was, your core is thesis, your core is publication coming out of thesis, but you have small windows to expose yourself to attract some competitive funding. And this is what I did. Any internal funding coming at Griffith, unfortunately, these fundings might be restricted now, so don't blame the Griffith. It's the normal environment we're living in. I think I have secured more in terms of number, more internal fundings from Griffith than my current institution because of COVID. Not much funds available. You have to apply and then might have to reapply again. And then there are some external appreciations, acknowledgements, awards coming along the way. Best paper award, best speech award, some external bodies giving you fund to travel for a conference. There is a conference, AIB, Australian, the Academy of International Business. If your paper is accepted, they give the full travel to PhD student. My colleague, one of my colleagues, Dr. Abdullah Mamoon, he has gone to all AIBs every year in his PhD. This year we are supervising a student together, but his application was rejected. We will try again for another PhD student next year. We'll see if we can use those fundings, whichever is available in the market. I also applied one project grant. So project grant with my supervisors, AFANS, but it was unsuccessful. But later on in my academic career at UW, I attracted 3 grants from AFANS. So I take it as a stepping stone to put myself in. Unsuccessful, the lesson is there. So missed opportunity is a regret, which stays with us for longer. Failure is a lesson we can learn out of it. And then you can work as an RA. I worked as an RA outside of my PhD thesis with my supervisors and others. They have the funding on different projects. You can get insights working with them. They may share how they got funding, so you can get that. There is industry internships happening. You can also consider if your supervisors are willing, because the Department of Education is putting more weight on HTR completion with HTR internship to attract some future funding from research block grant. Yes, so I gave that talk. I shared these insights. Yeah, these are some of the awards. Conferences. I attended different conferences. Internal presentations. I think PhD students I will encourage. If you can't go external, internal opportunities should be there. Brown bag finance seminars. I even presented in some of the, I think maybe got funding from law. I think Professor Brett is retiring. Saw his LinkedIn post. I think 1 or 2 times I got $500 for conference funding support. Something is there, even related disciplines. How many I have presented? So these are presentations. 2017, 2014, 10 times I presented. And then I acted as a discussant for the working paper of Seva. And after that, my supervisor invited me to mentor Seva. That's an excellent way. In science, engineering, the senior and junior PhD student work together. Yes, you know what is your thesis, what is his thesis, but they work together. I somehow trying to bring that in business school, in finance school, but there are issues. Yeah, you can't bring. Yeah, some people are concerned the idea may be stolen. Some concerned the contribution may be marginalized, something like that. But let's see if there is success there. But I have started a group work through Refinitiv manual, some group work, voluntary, which takes little time to bring people together and they can learn from each other. It also gives supervisor a bit of relief. The student can't see every time to you, but if student can learn peer to peer, so they can move to the next step. They don't have to wait for supervisor longer time. Yeah, these are old pictures. I think you can spot Robert and Benjamin. Yeah, so in the picture below, Bonway was visiting and he was giving demonstration on PPFJ 2015.
Yeah.
He's Robert, still young, but at that time, oh yeah,
Still young.
I'm also sitting. I think these were the research fellow. Victor is there.
Also.
Benjamin.
Also.
Yeah. These are my supervisors when I got the news, I got the graduation. I came to see them. Here, the picture. This picture is from one of the symposium. Someone is here who is at UQ now. And but I haven't met him yet. Maybe he will come today. Friday, there is a seminar. His office is next to my office, his next office. Now I'm in the front office. I just reflect. I was a PhD student invited one time by someone to give a talk. So now I'm sharing that space, sitting together. I'm visiting. He's there. You never know when the road can cross, your path can cross with each other. In 2016, I gave AFAN's presentation. My paper was selected as best paper. In the same room, there was Professor Millicent Cheng. She was in my interview panel for UW, and she is one of my mentors who is guiding me throughout the process. We have got my first PhD completion is with her. She was in my interview panel. And I say, just to acknowledge Benjamin, I read a quote, you can't be a leader if you produce a leader who can produce a leader. So I think I would like to appreciate Benjamin. He has produced a PhD student. No, I have produced a PhD student. I have few more coming in the future. So I think sometimes some things may not make sense in the supervisor-student relationship, but in the long run, I ensure you many things will make sense, if not all. So just follow their advice, have some peer support, have some interaction with the senior academics like Aki, John Fan, Robert, and some other. So just interact with them and keep on moving. These are some external presentations in Taiwan, in Sydney. This is the AFA with Campbell Harvey. So these are all during PhD. So I traveled, collected memories, and also got experience and profile.
Can I just go, if you go back on, Campbell Harvey was the editor of the Journal of Finance.
Yes.
So he comes from Duke University and became a, no, not Duke, it's the other one, Duke University. And he was a editor, I think, for 3 years or 5 years. Yeah.
After this presentation, Benjamin encouraged me to send paper to Campbell Harvey for his feedback, and if he might become interested to join us as author. I did that. I sent the paper, just the introduction, and he came back with one reply. I still have that reply. He said, I normally say no to all projects, even before looking at it. But looking at the title, I see it's an Australian paper, which may be relevant to Australian market. But he advised me one thing. He said, if you can do now, focus on international market. If Australian market give new insights like banking credit, some unique insight, which is not available to other markets, then work on that, provide new insights for other markets. But other than that, it may apply to Australian market, may not be much applicable to other markets. Said that if not now, future will be delayed. And then with Siva, we moved from Australian market to US market, international market, from Circa data to Bloomberg, and then that JFM paper. And my second A-star paper, which came just a few weeks ago, British Accounting Review International Market. My third A-star paper, which was my last PhD paper, which is from Circa database.
And you're really, if I can just really emphasize this, if you come from Sri Lanka, you're interested in the Sri Lankan market.
Yeah.
You come from Australia to Australia, Pakistan,
Yeah.
Pakistan. But at the end of the day, when you come to publishing,
Yeah,
it's going to be a
not-
global study. And then after you publish the global study, then you pull out the Sri Lankan
Yeah.
market or you pull out the
Yeah.
Australian market.
Yeah.
And students just need to understand that's the correct sequence of doing things.
Yes,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
2 minutes and then we will wind up. I think we are already going above. A bit of teaching, I was saying, I think you need to be strategic. Talking to HTS students, you need to be strategic in when you take on teaching and how you build your teaching profile. While you know your scholarship is for thesis, but after graduation, you need to demonstrate the output while you are on training, and you need to have teaching profile. So you need to be strategic. I got opportunity to be as a approved tutor in 3 different universities. I think Brisbane is small. You can have opportunities in different universities. So I was approved tutor at UQ and a tutor at University of Southern Queensland. Aki is still there. I think he's the one who linked me with Dr. Syed Shams. And my last A-star paper is with him. And I keep saying him from tutor to collaborator. And now I'm giving workshops in their university tomorrow. So you never know. I think only thing that is in my control is my heart and mind is there. And then leave everything. Other things will naturally flow your way. But if your heart and mind is not there, even things that are flowing your way, they will be diverted because your heart is not open to new opportunities. And the time will come when there will be abundance opportunities. You have to reject. You have to say no. And I did at Griffith when so many things are coming, and I said I can take this. I can avoid other. Yeah, so these are by 2017 and 2018. I also had teaching. There are some pictures. Money banking and finance with Robert. 2017, excellent time. Advanced corporate finance, which was my favorite subject. If I could have continued in that, I could do much more. But when I joined UW, I took on the leadership role in personal finance, which is different than advanced corporate finance. So then I had to relearn and then continue. And this is what I did at UW. From 2019 to 2023, I was the director of financial planning major. My teaching portfolio, which was the requirement of my probation, was selected as an exemplar. And I'm giving this credit up to a large extent to my teaching training that I received at Griffith during PhD and after PhD 2 years. And that allowed me to really settle into my teaching very quickly. Though I was teaching different subjects, but it was relatively easy. Optal Teaching Award I got as an early career teacher. Then I was invited after that award to be the accredited reviewer. So I'm still doing that. I go to the classes of my colleagues, do the peer review, I review their educational portfolios, and I review their CPD portfolios, which is requirement for their probation, contributing to their career progression. And I also now working from 2022 as a panel member on the teaching award. So I review 5 to 6 applications every round. And then we have a session where we deliberate, and then the winners are selected. Again, from teaching to some recognition, and from recognition to leadership position. And that's the journey from PhD student to senior lecturer. I have now left my academic program director role. When I come back from my sabbatical, I have to look for new roles, maybe teaching or research. Pitch ambassador, I have given a talk on, the talk is at the bottom, the title, a journey of 10 years from being an end user to a significant contributor and leader in pitching research framework, self-reflection and guide for HTS students. I gave this talk for 3 hours, just in August 2024. And the title of the theme of the talk was Inform, Inspire and Transform. So yeah, so that talk was in one of the subjects. This is my first year of PhD, not much happening. I got married, and my marriage was via Zoom. So I'm the early adopter of the online technology. It was through Skype. Yeah, so at that time Skype, at not Zoom. Zoom will come in the next slide. And my wife came, and I appreciate my supervisor. As soon as my wife came, the way of interaction changed significantly. So now, if supervisors are aware, single person, maybe more time for research, we can meet more regularly. But when you are a family person, the supervisor care for it, so that becomes important. His second year, a lot of things happening towards the last later part. Third year, now it's become a lot of things together. All those presentations and teaching, research. Fourth year, again, a lot of things happening. And this is the webinar that we gave from UK. So we asked Professor Robert to visit Pakistan, but he could not visit. We said, okay, let's deliver it online. And Professor Robert came to know that there is a Zoom software which we can use to live stream the session. And then we had to struggle on setting it up. IT support was required. And finally, we got that and session was delivered. So yeah, so that's it. And then PhD completion, that's a big thing that we all are waiting for. And again, I would say with this short talk, I was standing and there was a lot of zigzags and I keep collecting the jewels. At that time, I thought they are stones, but later on when I see back, reflect back, I see they are jewels and they have really helped me to complete my PhD and move around. So now just to wind up, now I'm a supervisor after that all struggle. So now am I living my journey and also adapting it to student needs? Because some students are independent at this start. Some may not want to be working as an RA. It's okay. You see which one is more willing or have skill set, which one may require more training. Just throw them a work and they will bring something there. I have currently 10 PhD students and one graduated last month in September. So out of 9, one on leave of absence for 2 semesters, one put a freeze for 1 year. So excluding them, I still have 7 active PhD students at different stages. Mostly have passed the candidature. We call it research proposal review. And 4 students will be submitting their thesis next year if everything goes well. And they all are on timely PhD completion. If you have so many students, you don't want to keep everything in your head. I don't know how Benjamin used to do. He had 4, 7, I think 6, 7 students at that time. So we had a team, governance team, and some of the team on hosting issues and stock market issues. I have developed my spreadsheet because I can't keep everything. I ask my students to keep updating every quarter. I remind them, and they keep adding their output, and I keep it as a shared drive. So I have excluded their names. It's just for 2 students. Publications, that much happening. Second year, third year student publications. If they're getting a training, the output will be there. It's the focus is the training. Develop yourself as a researcher. The products, the output will be coming. If you don't develop yourself as a researcher, no output will come definitely. It will be hard. So I have working paper, conferences, any awards, grants, internships, memberships they have, any other work they're doing, and the teaching. I intentionally put it there. Some of them are heavily teaching. I think this allows me to manage their performance as well as identifying if they're lagging on research, maybe some time is going to other things, maybe having some conversations and see if we can bring them on track. So these are 10 keys. I think we run out of time. I really apologize for that. I think with that, thank you so much for your listening.
Sir. I know we're really short on time, but is there any final questions or queries before we close up today? Everyone's good? Excellent. Well, Sarah, thank you for a wonderful 2 presentations,
Yes.
one on Refinitiv and one on your career. So thank you very much. I think we've learned a lot, and I think the students have got a really nice perspective on someone that's been here from Griffith to Wollongong. So thank you. I'm sure that you might receive 1 or 2 emails in the week or 2. Enjoy your time in Brisbane and Queensland.
So
enjoy the sunny weather. You're used to the sunny weather.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, Wollongong is a little bit cooler.